So Ridley killed Mario in the trailer, so we're going to see what happens here.
What's up, everybody? We are back finally, and I am back from E3, my first day there this year, and it went well. I had a really good time, and of course we're going to be talking about the Nintendo E3 Direct and Sony and Microsoft and their presentations as well. Of course, we're going to talk mostly about Nintendo in this one. Now, the day started out with Nintendo having their E3 Nintendo Direct, and we saw lots of reactions going on online. And I tweeted out that I was disappointed in their direct presentation, along with many other people who are disappointed as well. Now, I want to make it 100% clear, though, that if you are a Nintendo Smash Brothers fan, then this Nintendo Direct was probably an outstanding presentation for you, probably an A+ or 10 out of 10, because the game Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch looks very, very good. And while it's not a Wii U port per se, it is using Wii U assets and Wii U character models. And from what I played of it, it does feel a lot like the Wii U game, just like how it was back in 2014 on that system. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is very similar in how it plays to that game. I think it is a little bit faster and it has a little bit lighter weight to the characters, but I do need to test that out in practice versus the Wii U version of the game. But overall, they did improve the visuals of Smash Brothers on the Nintendo Switch, and of course they added a bunch of gameplay tweaks to the game, and of course Ridley is in the game, which was a huge announcement, and the return of Solid Snake from Smash Bros. Brawl. And all the Smash Bros. Characters from the entire history of Smash Bros. Have made a return to this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate version for the Nintendo Switch. So that is a great compilation of characters, and the game plays really well. It's extremely smooth. So obviously a lot of work has been put into rebalancing all the characters, each and every one of them, adding little moves here and there to each and every one of them, changing their final smash moves, things like that. There was definitely a ton of work being put into this game. However, I do want to point out, if you are just a Smash casual player like myself and others, you probably won't notice too much of a difference in playing the game for yourself on the Nintendo Switch versus the Wii U game. Say you go play the Wii U game and then go to the Nintendo Switch version, I highly doubt you're going to be able to tell too much of a difference. Maybe some tweaks here and there you may notice, but if you're a casual player of this game, I don't think you're going to notice way too many things different. In terms of how it looks, things have been changed here and there, but they are reusing a lot of the same assets from the Wii U. And so no, it is not a port of the Wii U game in terms of the gameplay and in terms of the things they change and what you can do with your characters. But you know, with fighting games and things like that, that is not uncommon in previous entries of the Street Fighter Alpha series. For example, Street Fighter Alpha 1 and 2 used many of the same character sprites in both of those games, yet one was Street Fighter Alpha 1 and one was Street Fighter Alpha 2. So it's not uncommon in fighting games for them to do that. So even though it looks like the Wii U game, and even though it even plays like the Wii U game in many aspects, it is not a port of the Wii U game. It is actually a new game. So that's just something to point out there in terms of this version on the Nintendo Switch. Now, in terms of Nintendo's E3 presentation, I thought it was very poorly done. One of the worst ones I've seen from them in quite a long time. I'd have to say it is right up there with the 2015 presentation they had for E3 and possibly even the 2008 presentation. It just really wasn't very good in terms of E3 and what they present for that press conference. I thought they rushed through all their third-party games extremely fast, even though they showed Fortnite, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Paladins, Ark Survival Evolved, Arena of Valor also, Fire Emblem The Three Houses, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, and that new mech game, Daemon X Machina, which, if I'm saying that right, who knows. They showed those games extremely fast, and then the rest of the entire presentation, as you know, was all Super Smash Bros., which was over 25 minutes just on Smash Bros. From the Nintendo Switch. So I think Nintendo completely lost the concept of E3 here, because E3 is the biggest conference time of the entire year. And I was there today, you know, people from Europe, from South America, from Japan, everyone was there in Los Angeles today to play these games on the show floor and to see what these companies had to show for the rest of the year. This is the big ticket, the big show. everyone knows that E3 is the big time to show all these products. So for Nintendo to focus on one game basically for the entire time was a big disappointment. I really think they could have used a separate Nintendo Direct, a Smash Direct, and that would have been awesome because then they could go through all that stuff in a Nintendo Smash Direct and have Sakurai go through all the different animations like how he did in E3 Direct here, all these tiny little changes he made to it. He can go through all that stuff in its own separate Direct. For people like me who are not big Smash Brothers fans, you know, I'm a casual player, that Smash Brothers time that they put in that E3 Direct, for me, I really wish they would have shown Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, Star Fox, F-Zero, you know, anything else but Smash Brothers for 25 minutes long. For you Smash Brothers fans out there, I'm really happy for you. You got all that information, but for me, I was really hoping for a lot of other stuff to get me excited about Nintendo going forward, and not just Smash Brothers, which is what we already knew was coming in the first place. So Nintendo's conference for me was by far the most disappointing of all the three conferences between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, with the second most disappointing being Sony's. I thought Sony's was really poorly handled and very poorly paced, and there was no surprises hardly at all besides, I think, Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is a multi-plat game, and the new game called Control, which they announced in there, which looked pretty cool, I have to admit. But Sony's presentation was very lackluster, very boring, very slow-paced. The games they showed were awesome, of course, especially the three that I personally liked the most, which is The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and of course Spider-Man. Death Stranding, I don't know anything about that game really still, even after seeing that trailer, so that one I'm going to put to the side for now and pretend like it's not there until I actually see some real gameplay of it in action. So that leaves Microsoft, and Microsoft I think had the most consistent and very well done presentation of their games. Granted, their first party software and content is not as good as Sony's, but Microsoft's presentation was by far the best and got me the most excited for what they're showing. And I was actually happy for Microsoft announcing that they purchased 5 different first-party studios going forward, and that the future is bright for them and they won't be exiting the console market anytime soon. So I think Microsoft did an excellent job in their presentation, better than Sony and Nintendo. So seeing the press conferences and actually going there and playing the games yourself is two completely different experiences. You guys have to experience it for yourself to know what I'm talking about, obviously. But when you do that, you'll see that the conferences basically get the show going, and when you go to E3 for yourself, that's when actually you can play the games, get the atmosphere and get everything soaked up, and you can process everything more clearly when you actually play the games for yourself and not just see them and not just see how poorly or how good they were presented in these press conferences. So the games I played, of course, were Smash Bros. Ultimate, Starlink, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Mario Tennis Aces. And I think that Starlink has some really great potential, and I'm going to do a video dedicated to that in my full review preview of the E3 demo with gameplay footage and everything, which I'll post probably tomorrow. It does have some issues I will go over in that video, so stay tuned for that. So even though I was disappointed in Nintendo's E3 presentation, I did have a lot of fun at E3 today, and Smash Bros. Ultimate is a very well made, very good game. If you're a Smash Bros. Fan, you're going to love that game, I guarantee it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please let me know and hit the like button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about all this stuff that's gone on with E3. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Have a great day.